what I do is kind of like I clean my cutting knife, because honestly, just it cuts a lot of things, and I want to sterilize it.
Energetically?
Yep, energetically sterilizing it. You know, some good hygiene, energetic hygiene. The next thing is, okay, so I have a Palo Santo. Hope you have at least that, or sage. And if not, then if nothing else, if all fails, then I only imagine. And that also, you know, your intention really matters. And so if you can at least imagine that you're like using some smoke and you bring that smoke in, then you can do it also, right? But let's hope most of you even just have something like that to burn. And the first thing I'm going to do is I need to open up the energy field. So this is fun. You know, so what we saw, we actually like open up the veils a little bit. And I'm going to start with Rachel's front so we can see, and then go to the back. Usually there's a front and a back part to it. So I'm using the Palo Santo to kind of soften up the area and get it going, and start opening it up with Rachel's permission. Just feeling that we're able to put more fire, because that's changing, you know, a changeable energy, to start moving things along. Like if you think about water, then like when it boils with the fire, so it starts moving much easier, and it rises up, so it's easy for us to pull. The next thing is to ask Rachel to close her eyes and to see the person that we're going to cut this cord with in front of her. And if she can already say out loud, or at this point, like to, you know, internally, but to that person, what Ashley just talked about. Why then, from this understanding, I am ready to cut this cord with you, for you and me. Basically, it's an act of love that's above all emotions, right? So understanding also why the connections were there in the first place is the main thing also, because it helped in some way for us to grow or to feel or whatever. So that's also important to say now. Like, why was that connection there to begin with? Like, what did we learn about ourselves? What was the lesson? And even with like, what is the gift that we got from it? Or maybe the gift is just realizing it and cutting it, but what is the gift? Which is different than the lesson, because lessons don't necessarily are so, you know, sound positive, but they're lessons, you know, they're like, what was the story behind the connection? And then what do we get from it? What is now revealed? What is the goal that you find when you dig deep? Okay, so I'm gonna ask Rachel to do that, and if you can just start breathing with an intention to let go. So inhale and exhale with your mouth open as much as possible, letting go. And I'm just going to start feeling out the cord energetically. Yeah. And just starting to feel it, and just let Rachel know that whenever she's ready, when she's fully ready, she can say, I'm ready to cut the cord.
Ready to cut the cord.
Okay, now I'm going to ask you to take a deep inhale, and with the exhale, with full intention to release. There we go. And as you see, my handiwork here, I'm now making sure I'm taking everything out. And close my eyes, I can even sense, just like if you see, I see some strings, you know, some strings and the energy heavier. Sometimes I take my knife again. I'm throwing to the fire. And then the last thing I'm going to do here, when I feel it's all clear, is take my Palo Santo again. And again, if you don't have it, just think about the quality that we're bringing here with it. And you're again like cauterizing the wound, clearing it even more with the smoke, clearing it with your intention, with light, and then sealing it. So to seal that wound, it's kind of like how you think you need to seal something, you know, but make sure it's closed tight, you know, shut tight. And it's something that I've learned, but we're not going to do it here, but think about that as an idea. So even burn a little bit with the Palo Santo, the skin sometimes. So it's like, no, you're not going to do it because you can't, but think about, I even make that sound. Sound is important of how we close completely that place. So it doesn't reattach, and her energy field is not wounded anymore. There's no energy leakage from there. If I sense it in the back, I'm going to do the same in the back. So let me do that, and maybe now you can have another, just a view of what I'm doing. Oh, nice. Thank you. And again, I'm going to put it here and sense again what I was sensing before. If I'm seeing the cord, okay. What is your sensation in the back? Mm-hmm.
There's some tension, like
Right?
here.
Yeah.
It goes all the way up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Okay, so what she said is that she feels tension from here, this area that I felt before also, but going all the way up to the shoulder, right? And that's okay. You can see like everything kind of like wrapped around even. But to cut the cord, you just want to think about like the first pain, the first sensation, and just decide on a place where you want to cut. And know that it's going to fall. And Rachel, if I'm doing this, maybe there's more that you need to say or do. And so the same thing from the back. Maybe it's not even this person anymore. Maybe now it's a situation, a pattern, right? A karmic bond, a karmic loop that we want to flow. So all that, and then really thinking about it, understanding the lessons and what you got. And in your own time, you can tell me that I can cut it when you're ready.
Can we say something?
If you want to.
Okay, I release the stories and the expectations, and I call all of my power back to me.
Great. So see, she even used this part to even call all that power, everything that was drained from her during that story, back to her. So Rachel, take a deep inhale, and with an exhale, with the full intention to release. 1, 2, 3. Good job. This came out smoother. And I can now go and really, first of all, just clear the sludge, clear the field, whatever I feel like doing, honestly. Like, this is a child life, you know, that's the idea. You know, she's going to feel it as long as I'm intending to clear whatever I'm feeling. Pulling out more, maybe doing a nice little sweep again. Releasing her, all that tension, letting out. Good. And then again with the Palo Santo, same thing. If I cut somewhere, you always have to clear it and seal it. Okay? That's like a little motto. If I cut, I clear and I seal. Ooh. So we're gonna do the same here. Okay, and I'm closing. I like to think about it in a way like closing a wound with like a needle and thread. So you're gonna like do that motion and like tighten it up and then like smooth it out. Whatever works, so you can really see that it's closed. And then even with the Palo Santo, I'm not gonna do it. The physical one. There we go. Okay, good. All right. So that was a quick, very quick. Thanks, Rachel, for jumping in. And of course, this could be longer and take whatever process you need. But this was just the action that you're going to take. Cool.
Can I share something?
Yes, and now please share.
Milan has cut a few cords for me in the past, and one of them being my mom, and it was a really unhealthy, tangled mess, and we cut it, and with like pure intention, I saw that I could regrow a healthy cord with my mother, but I wasn't actually ready to take those steps in the real life to create that healthy relationship yet, so I didn't, but like in that session, it really released something and gave me the clarity of what's possible, and if we want to, like, just like, it does release something, but in terms of moving forward, it still requires like intention and action to follow through with what we do want that relationship to look like.
Definitely. Relationships are work, and also just by cutting it energetically just means it will be easier for you emotionally to make that detachment and start moving along. And sometimes we just need the detachment period. You know, not about just creating the cords again, just that detachment to just establish a new baseline, you know, and move from there. And also a cool thing, we know that we actually cut a cord when the person on the other side feels it. So they usually will like text or call or something. So that's like a fun little trick. Like, you know that it worked when the other person on the other side just immediately gets it and you feel the change and you've been contacting to try to reestablish it. So be careful, you know, maybe you do want some time and not reestablishing right away. Like, so you can really work with yourself, with your deeper layers of emotions on that.